Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Important Decisions. My name is Jason Helmstetter, and I'm here. It's been a ass kicker of a work week already, so I thought I'd come down and talk a little bit. Really excited to actually do a comparison of this whiskey for you all. Um, Many people know me that I kind of have some brands that I'm really enjoying right now. I talk about Heaven Hill quite a bit. I talk about the Brown Forman products, whether it's Jack or Old Forester. But one that always is a go-to for me is Wild Turkey. And specifically, I love Wild Turkey Rare Breed. I think for the price point of $60 or less, and I think that's anywhere in the US, this is one of the best bottles that you can get for yourselves. I think it just, at barrel proof, which they typically do it at 116.8, it is an absolutely fabulous pour. And it's one that's a little proof point higher than most entry levels for other folks who come in around those 80 to 92 proofers. So this gets them graduated up. But whether it's neat or on the rocks, I think it's always a great pour to have. So a friend of mine came to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to hear what you think about this." And he gave me the Rare Breed Export, which, truth be told, I never frickin' even knew there was one. But lo and behold, there is an export that goes outside the US of Rare Breed from Wild Turkey. And from what I understand, it's a very similar mash bill, if not the identical one. I just can't confirm it because, one, I don't work there and a lot of that stuff stays secret. The biggest difference, and they do prove it to the same, that 116.8, biggest difference is that export is a non-chill filtered. And that's what has me really intrigued to try this, because of those of you who know all about, chill filtered versus non-chill filtered, there is quite a difference in terms of what happens during that process of that filtering. When you chill filter, it often removes a lot of those, what you want to call it, the the acid, the fatties, the lipids, um, and it kind of creates a clearer spirit, if you will. Whereas if you do a non-chill filtered, it's going to have a little bit more of that fuller body. There's going to be some oiliness to that mouthfeel. There's typically a longer finish. The aroma is there. It brings out a bit more of that, um, the depth of that on the nose, uh, and just some more complexity to it. So, many of you are out there, and I see folks on different pages, or they're asking, "Is this chill filtered or not?" And there's a vast majority of people, I believe, that I've met who believe in the non-chill filtered, that it just creates a little deeper, more bodied whiskey to drink. So I'm excited to give these a try. I'm going to start with the one that I know because it's what I know, and jump into it. And this bottle's been open for quite some time. Anybody here in the Wisconsin area, and I give shout outs to my man Matt Schneider, who was the first person to introduce me to Wild Turkey Wednesday. And I have since then carried that tradition on for quite some time, which Wild Turkey Wednesday is that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, where you basically, for me, we try to run the gauntlet on a bunch of different Wild Turkey products, whether it's Rare Breed, Kentucky Spirit, Wild Turkey 101, Wild, and that can be any of the age statements, Wild Turkey 12, and Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye. And now this year, we're going to get the opportunity to do the Wild Turkey 16 year, the tribute to the Cheese Eagle foil. So, shout out to Matt for bringing that into my life. But I really thank my friend Dan Larson for this sample because he travels a fair amount into the different markets and he'll find some bottles that I've always been fond of. And so, shout out to him for recognizing that I might want to do this comparison. So when I do get into the American release, there is some caramel in there. There is some fruit on the nose, not a ton. It's not super deep. Um, and I'll come back to that in a little bit. Um, but that vanilla is there. That's pretty common. I'm gonna try the nose on the export. Oh wow! Just right off the bat, it it's letting you know that I'm here. Definitely a little richer fruit. That caramel still there. Excuse me. And I'm interested to see that nose is a fabulous one. I'm looking here. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a little bit different legs coming off of the one of the export. They're just a little bit slower coming down and a little fatter lines, but similar enough. Again, if people don't understand that, like the grains and the yeast that they're using, that there's these fats and these proteins that are inside that mash. And if you think about the easiest analogy I think I can think of is if you take bacon grease and you pour it off of a pan after you're cooking your bacon, if you bake it or whatever it might be, and you allow that to cool and settle, the fat will separate as that cools and it'll come up to the top and it'll leave the rest of that remnants in the grease a little bit clearer. Well, that's essentially what is taking place when you do chill filtering. You're chilling that spirit down and it's creating a separation where they can literally just skim it right off the top. But when you do a non-chill filtered, all of those proteins, those fats, they remain, and that's what gives you that viscosity, that oily feel in your mouth. That's what I think a lot of bourbon and whiskey drinkers are wanting. Uh, you don't drink it because you want it to taste like water. You don't drink it because you want it to taste like a rum. Yeah, rum finishes are great, but you want something that just is full bodied and it's just bam, you know that distiller put something good into it. So that nose on there again, it's deeper. It still has that leatheriness. There's a bit of oak. I'm intrigued to try it. I'm gonna warm up with the American rare breed first. First pour of the day, first pour of the week. I guess that's not fair to say because it's Monday, but it does what it needs to do. And it's that familiar, always, always going to hit for you. That rare breed gives you. On the second sips, maybe many of you are like this. I feel like I get a little bit more of the sweetness as my mouth is now proofed up, and I'm going to get back into it. Um, but again, rare breed. I'm not the only one saying it. There's a lot of you out there that say it. That right there, one of the best bottles for under 60 bucks. Honestly, I'd put it in the top three. There's one out there from Old Forester as well that I think that should be a part of that. And I think there's some other ones from other distilleries too, but rare breed should be one where you bring that to a party. Everyone knows it's a consistent, it's a constant, it's good to have, great to have. Hmm. There was a lot more of that caramel. There's vanilla on there, a little bit of some leatheriness. And again, that's such a hard one to describe because what does leatheriness taste like? But felt like maybe if I'd like chewed on the corner of my jacket a little bit, maybe. Let's get into this export. Wow. quite a bit different. Um, Easiest thing to say, and it's what I listed out for you when I was just chatting about it, is there's more body there. There's a oilier feel as it coats my mouth, even after I've had 3 sips of the American version. This export only definitely has, it's a bit different nose. I almost want to give there's like a vanilla in that that's real. It's not faint. It's like rich though. It's not like a high sugar. It's just you can just this man. It's like using real vanilla versus imitation vanilla. If you can understand that. And honestly, I don't know that I would pick up that that's a rare breed. I would like to think maybe so. I think I could probably figure out that it's a wild turkey product, but it feels a bit older simply because of the nose that I'm getting and that palate. The finish does last a bit longer. So I don't know the retail price on these. I didn't look that up before I jumped on here, but I would venture to guess maybe it's in a similar market, maybe 60, maybe $70. Um, but if you're getting overseas, I say you get out and get one. Throw one in your bag on the way back, maybe two, because it's a lot cheaper to bring back a $60 bottle and pay a $30 over the weight charge than it is to get back into some of those markets. But I will definitely be requesting one of these from Dan next time he's around. Yeah, wow, 100%. That don't want to use the term dustiness because there's some dusties I've had that are a little bit light, but that again feels like an older whiskey. It feels like something that maybe has been sitting on that shelf. Maybe it was a little bit longer in the barrel as well. But that non-chilled filter being the greatest difference between the two does impact it. So for those of y'all that are interested, go out and find yourself Wild Turkey Rare Breed export version. And hell, you get one, feel free to send a sample your boy's way. I appreciate you listening, watching. I would love it if you'd hit that like and the subscribe, turn on your notifications. I'd like to build this channel more. We're coming into some good festivals coming up, and I'd really like to steamroll this and do some fun stuff with other people. I appreciate everybody that watches. Y'all have a great night. Be good to one another.